So, you want to make your own wheel, huh? Well, I'll show you by the following procedure. First things first, click the Desmos link that I provided you in the description down below, and it'll give you a title stating graphing a wheel that can go up and down on a specific set of stairs with assumptions. And you could always just read everything from here on the step-by-step process on how to do the rest, but I could always just tell you anyway in a video format. Alright, next, so I'd like you to pick a staircase that you prefer that resembles a sawtooth road. What I mean by that is that all the risers of the staircase, the walls of the stairs, has the same length, and all the treads of the staircase, the floor of the stairs, has the same length as well, consistently throughout the staircase. And we further assume that the staircase does not contain any nosing, the little overhangs that sticks out of the risers. Furthermore, the edges of the staircase is assumed to be pointy edges, not rounded off. But you could always just ignore that. Rounded stairs are fine. And last but not least, the most important part, the angle between the tread and the riser should not be less than 90 degrees. And I'll show you why by the following example that I'm going to put in. Now, I'd like you to measure your tread and the riser of the staircase, and I'd like you to put it in the variables S and L on line 3 and 4. So in my case, S will be 14 centimeters, and L would be 32 centimeters. Now, it doesn't really matter if you put the tread or the riser in either S or L, because the derivation will correct itself. Now, moving on, you can pick whatever integer you want onto variable n. So the variable n is the number of pedals you want on your wheel, also known as n loops. In terms of rolling, n is how many pairs of sawtooth road is needed to make one full rotation of the wheel. Now be sure that n is a positive integer, alright? So in this case, I'll just pick 1. And there you go, it just shows up. Now moving on, if the angle between the riser and the tread is not exactly 90 degrees, then tough luck, I couldn't actually figure it out. It seems to be an anomaly for me. Psych! I actually did figure it out. Oh my god, you have no idea how long it took me to figure this one. So all you have to do is just go to line 63, and you can actually adjust O right here and see how it varies a lot. Like, you would not believe how long this took me. Go to line 65 and vary variable O to your desired angle between the tread and the riser. So it's 90 degrees apart by default. And let's say, for example, that my staircase is 84 degrees. There you go. That's what your wheel would look like. Now, if you cannot measure the angle directly using a protractor, then measure the hypotenuse going from one edge of the staircase to the other, and then you will plug that length for C. Now the hypotenuse in my case is 33.5 centimeters. So once that is plugged in, I've been given 84 degrees approximately. Alright. So plug that 84 degrees onto variable O, and you would have your angle. Like I've stated before, any angle between the tread and the riser is less than 90 degrees, then the wheel should not exist. Let me demonstrate. So this purple trace over here is actually the trace of the maximum radius of this wheel. Now you only expect this purple trace to only hit the staircase on their vertices. But if the angle between the tread and the riser is less than 90 degrees, then the wheel will pierce through the stairs before it even hits the vertex. And therefore, that wheel will stop rolling as soon as it hits that edge. Now we'll produce a wheel with a very bumpy ride. Now let's look at an extreme case. Let's say that the angle between the tread and the riser is 65 degrees. And you start to notice that right off the bat, the wheel pierces through the stairway before it even hits the vertex. Now, even if the angle is very close to 90 degrees, so let's say 89.9 degrees apart, then you'll still see... yeah, there we go. We got it. You see that the purple trace is right below the staircase, so it still pierces through the stairway. Alright, now I'm going to spend a lot of time zooming out. Oh, if you want to see the derivation, here's the entire proof. If you didn't catch any of that, link is in the description down below. It's a quick read, it's only 20 pages, you'll have time. So the wheels that I produced for my stairway, it should not exist at all. But I did it anyway, because I figured out this limitation after the fact, after the experiment, and it kind of devastated me for some time. But hey, as long as we know that any sawtooth road that is less than 90 degrees, the wheels for that does not exist. But as you can see from the experimentation, it actually works. It's probably due to two things: the imperfections of both the wheel and the staircase. For the staircase, it is the rounded off outer and inner edges and the inconsistent length of both the tread and the risers. So they're not exactly 14 centimeters consistently for the riser and 32 centimeters consistently for the treads. As for the wheel, however, let's say we have a 3-loop wheel, copy and pasting all of these functions, in this case 3 times, will make us a very imperfect wheel if we don't really perfectly put it all together. For which I did physically on the woodworking that I did. Now, all of these imperfections together, 84 degrees apart, being very close to 90 degrees, the wheel hitting the side of the stairway before it hits the vertex is pretty negligible. So the safest way to make a wheel is to just make variable O exactly 90 degrees if the stairway that you chose is less than 90 degrees. As long as the angle is very close to 90 degrees, just like I've demonstrated here. So that's the limitation of this derivation. Maybe a different derivation will work any sawtooth road less than 90 degrees. Who knows? I'll just leave it to you guys to figure out a solution, if there is one. Okay, moving on. Once you plug in S, L, and N, you will obtain 2 final polar functions in black. And lo and behold, you have obtained the functions that you needed for your wheel. Oh, and by the way, just a little extra, you can actually make the wheel roll along the road as you vary this capital O over here. It's pretty cool. Now, to make the fully fledged wheel, all you needed to do is copy and paste these functions n number of times. So in this case, 3 times for me.
Okay, to attach them properly, duplicate the pairs of functions n number of times and attach their longest radii, in orange, together with the other n number of pairs of functions. Do this n number of times to get n number of pedals. Make sure that the origin, the center of the wheel, and the shortest radii, the y-axis, is aligned properly. What I would suggest is to duplicate the 2 functions, turn the color white to alpha, and rotate the function 360 divided by n degrees. In this case, 120 degrees for n equals 3. Duplicate and rotate until you finish the entire wheel. Make sure by the end you will have a total of 2n number of functions and n number of pedals. In this case, 6 number of functions and 3 number of pedals. Erase, make finishing touches. And lo and behold, you have acquired your wheel.
Alright, that's all I could show you about this wheel thing. It was a pretty fun experience, actually. I've learned a lot of mathematics. Like, ooh, it was a lot to take in. And I guess I'll try to think of something else that I could derive and make on Desmos. That would probably be on the next project that I'm going to work on. And I guess on the next video, I could probably talk about the derivations on this. That would be fun. You could always just read the paper yourself. It's in the link in the description down below. It's a pretty fun read. You can follow me on Twitter. I mean, I don't know what to do there. There's that. You could also follow me on Instagram. I do my art there a lot. It's pretty good. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll probably see you next time. Oh.
There's a technique to it.
Like bowling,